So you want to make a living from trading, but you lack the time. Does that sound like you? If it does, and my guess is that it does, well then you're in the right place, because I am going to show you my live trading from today where I made just under $2,000 in around 10 minutes. Stick with me, because the reality is this is the sort of thing you can also do if you approach this business in the right way, as you're about to find out. Now before we get into it, yes, of course there will be days where the market is not moving as quickly as you would like, and it may take more than 10 minutes for your trade to come to fruition, but a lot of the time the initial market momentum can be quick and enough to make your day if you time it right and you're looking at the right things. So let's have a look. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we've got the live market here. You can see my live account as always. As always, let's just take a moment to actually admire. Don't think those of you that have watched my videos before will have seen this, but you know, I've got 10 minutes, right, to make this $2,000. So, but on a serious note, you know, let's just sit back and admire for 1 minute the amount of information that, if I just pause the live market, let's admire the amount of information that professional day traders are looking at. Is it any surprise? You want to get into a career, you want to be making money in a short space of time, fine. But to do that, you obviously need to have the correct tools at your disposal, the correct information, and it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just information that any business is going to have. You know, they're going to want to see at different prices how many transactions, right? Do not see this on any sort of retail traders repertoire or line of sight. I just don't see it, right? And it's absolutely insane. If you're going to run a business, you know, don't worry too much about the details here, but you know, something like the footprint, they're all really just giving you the same information in slightly different formats. Something like the volume profile, the depth of market, just really explaining transactional behavior at price, right? So here, price, transactions. Here we've got price, transactions. Here you've got transactions as well in more granular detail. Here you've got transactions in not so much granular detail, but obviously you're looking at a broader space of time, the entire day here. So really, you know, let's just sit and admire the amount of information in slightly different formats that institutional traders are looking at. Is it any wonder that they typically tend to perform better than those that are not looking at this information? It's quite obvious. So obviously you need to make that decision. We will continue to play the market now in just 1 second. Firstly, I want to set the scene, right? Let's have a look at what actually happened today. So we had inflation week this week, which you may or may not be aware of. Obviously important. It's in the forefront of all professional traders' minds. The CPI was quite soft today, right? As it has been, it has been quite soft, especially on a headline basis, with crude oil obviously below $70 and helping really push that headline number down. We've also got the FOMC tomorrow. The target is at 5 to 5.25% in interest rates. The market is really expecting, because inflation has been softening, that the Fed may actually, for the first time in a while, not hike tomorrow, right? So if we open this up, you can see 4, 4.5, 4.75, 5, 5.25. Consistently, they've been raising 25 basis points. If we actually look at and we're going to get on the charts in just 1 second, it is important. We look at the probability of rates changing at, in fact, that's the July meeting. Have a look at June, so this month's meeting, it's minuscule. It's dropped right down. It was about 20% before today's CPI release. It went as low as 2%. We're looking at about a 6% chance of a rate hike. So the market is clearly expecting that the Fed won't raise rates. That's why it's been rallying so much, okay? So we're going to hit play. I want to take advantage of that. I want to go with that sentiment right now that the market wants to obviously move up. Now we're going to have a look at this together. Now that I've got that in play, there is something else, in fact, I should mention, and it's the point of control. Okay, something called the point of control, POC. Okay, very important. Again, if you're running any business, it's business basics. If you're running any business, and again, don't forget, you will see how I've actually made money today, but it's important you see kind of the framework that not only I'm using, but professional traders are using. Point of control here, that means it's the most number of transactions that have taken place here. Very, very important, because that is where there's likely to be a lot of traders with positioning. So when the market comes back towards it, if you're an institutional trader, you're either going to view it as a great place to do what? Add, right? You know, if you've taken a lot of a position here and the market goes up and comes back, you're going to look at that as a great area, another opportunity to add to your trade. I'm aware of this. Obviously, you know, I hear people all the time in retail talking about identifying significant areas of interest and levels, but how they're doing it without having access to the most basic information is questionable, right, to say the least. So I've taken a position here because we're just heading back towards the point of control, seeing a lot of selling, as you can see here, coming in, but not really much movement from the sellers. Something I guess you could call absorption. You're seeing a lot of selling coming in, but not much movement. We do get a little bit of movement right into this point of control, i.e., and don't worry too much about, you know, it's the first time you've seen this. The main point is I just want to highlight, as I said at the start of the video, just sort of the different types of information a professional trader, which you can be yourself, is looking at, and how different it is to what we see in the commercial space. So something like the point of control, quite basic, is going to tell an institutional trader that that is where the majority of volume has been on a given day, and therefore there's likely to be a lot of positioning there that's going to be defended. But as you come down there, you're not necessarily going to buy, you know, just blindly, but you're going to look at the behavior of the market as it comes down into this. You can see a lot of, as I said, a lot of selling here coming into this point of control, but the market's really struggling to do much past there, right? You can see a lot of contracts just printing right here into this point of control, but nothing that the market can do to push past it. That means these sellers are vulnerable, right? Vulnerable. And that's good for me as someone who wants to get long. It's a great area for me to position myself. So you can see I'm starting to buy the market here. Only slightly in profit here, about 250, 350. So, you know, I'm not getting too excited because I still want to see these sellers that you see here get out of their position, right? I want them to realize that this selling is not going to lead them to the direction they want to be in, and therefore they're going to have to exit. What does that mean? They're going to have to buy the market. That's only going to help. So you can see that happening right now here very, very quickly as I'm talking. Try and get rid of some of this. You can see all of this buying coming in here. That's not necessarily only fresh buying. If you remember what we saw a lot of selling in this area. All down here, this was all selling into the point of control. That's a lot of those traders now exiting their positions. Okay, that's why you're seeing so much. I don't like to say blue because I don't want it to be like an indicator, but real buying. That's why you're seeing so much buying coming in. It's not necessarily only fresh buying. It's also a lot of these guys that were selling into this point of control, exiting their positions, right? Now, without access to this information, how do you know when the market's moving up or you're seeing momentum, who that is? You know, is it fresh buying coming in? Is it actually people who are in trouble? Because I recognized there probably were people in trouble there, gave me the confidence to really hold this trade. Yes, I took some scales. Yes, I'm up 900, but I've got floating P&L here of another 9 or 8 or 900, which I'm willing to hold right up into the top because I recognize there's likely to be some momentum here. Obviously, I have got a long bias, so there is partly, yes, I'm expecting fresh buyers to come in, but also the fact that we saw some of that behavior there, where sellers were, you know, trying to exert control but unable to. Put yourself in their position. If you've sold and the market doesn't start moving in your favor, you're obviously going to exit your position, right? And that's behavior that's very important for you to be aware of if you want to make a profession out of this. All right, so hopefully that was useful for you. I'm going to actually just quickly forward it. So I really didn't want to make the video more than around 10 minutes, but you can see, I think it was about 6 or 7 minutes this trade was. The trade is actually over now. So you can see it here, plus $1,875. It was about 7 minutes. Just want to reiterate before we finish the video that yes, sometimes of course these things can take longer, right? And that's I'm going to be honest about that. But as long as you time these things correctly, you're giving yourself every chance of picking up a lot of this momentum and your day being over as quick as possible on a lot of days, right? Obviously, it depends on your skill set and how much you've developed that, but you're looking at the right things, you're giving yourself every chance of being able to do this. So hope that was useful for you. Check out this video that pops up on screen for more order flow videos. See you next time.